Greetings and salutations. I was sitting here, my life evaluating. I sat in this park 30 years ago, trials and tribulations. Not really, it was just me playing alone. It's wild, and this is creative. I'm gonna see if I can make this whole video rhyme. It shouldn't be a problem. I do this all the time, but to be cohesive with anything that comes out my mind. So let's see if it turns out to be a masterpiece and so fun. The other day I was thinking, or I saw this one clip. It was about being gaslighted, and I thought, shit, I've been gaslit since I came back to America. I ain't giving no lip. People just been doing this, and they don't give a fick. See what I did there? Like, we be talking in the car or whatever about this and that, and I'll say what my opinion, and they'll tell me that was whack. I'm thinking in my mind, can you prove any of that? But I let it go because, you got to give people slack. Then they'll say something and I'll say, man, that was crap. And they'll say to me, how could you say that? I say, what do you mean? You don't have anything to prove your facts. You just talking out your ass, and I'm tired of smelling your crap. And they'll say, you hurt my feelings. Why would you do? I mean, what do you mean, why would I do? Basically, I did what you did too. And they would say to me, that isn't true. Because I was just playing around with you before. You take things too seriously, dude. And then I think, maybe I do. Maybe I gotta lighten up. But then 5 minutes later, they do the same thing, and it sucks because I remember so vividly what they just did to me. And I know if I say what I say, they're going to say what they said instantly. So this was happening since I've been home. That's like, 36 weeks. Maybe I'm off on the math, but whatever. This ain't algebra, please. So then I go home, and then I wake up, and then I have some of these dreams. And I wake up in the morning like, reality ain't what it seems. It seems that people are getting over on me. And then I recount the conversation we have easy as 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1, or 2, 1, 3. Snoop. But it's like, you can't actually go to that person to rehash a conversation that passed because people get fuzzy with their math. Like, I ain't say none of that. You again think too much about the past. And I'm like, nah, if we go back, we can see the history, which is in fact the way that I said it. And they be like, nah, and they be starting to laugh like, you gotta lighten up. And then we just go back. So yeah, I didn't know what this was called. I don't even think it's something new. I saw this one video on YouTube with the guy with the plant on his head popped into view. And they gave some examples of what it is to be gaslighted. And I'm like, 1, 3, 7, and 6. Like, yeah. My imagination was reignited. So even though this may be long and it may be in rap form, let me know in the comments if this happens to you and this is the norm. And is there any way to get out of this predicament? Because I don't like being twisted up like licorice. Today's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, and I'm just sitting here making a video for all of you. I know I shouldn't point because that's kind of rude, but you know what I was trying to do, so please don't treat me so crude. Over there we can see some policing. I swear to God, my whole city feels like it's inside a precinct. Every day the lights be whoop, 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 whoop. And you run to the window to see what they have just do. Someone wrote in the comments, I don't look as happy as I did in Japan. And that made me so happy, if y'all could understand. I mean, Japan wasn't the best, and Japan wasn't my home, but Japan was a place that I could be creative in the zone. I could make my money, pay my bills, do my thing. I mean, I could do all this here now, but it's a different kind of slang. I mean, now that I'm home, I get to watch my dad get older each day. And when I offer him advice, usually this is what he say: I don't need nobody's help. I can do it myself. And I'm just sitting there like, welp. Because that's the same thing I saw that happened to my mom. And if he doesn't get that by now, somebody got that shit wrong. So that's one condition that didn't exist when I was living abroad. So yeah, to say I'm not as happy as I was there wouldn't be completely wrong. The second thing, as I mentioned when I first started, so many people just be running around talking garbage, gaslighting, victimizing, and every other type of shit, which maybe they did it in Japan, but they never did it to this guy sitting here on this chair, because they knew I didn't understand what they said, so nobody really cared. But now people they coming for me because I'm an easy mark, like a dude with a lot of money sitting alone in the park after dark with a lark. What's a lark? So that would be the second qualification of why things are different here. And I got a whole list, so take out a pen and paper if you want to be prepared. All right, the third thing that is probably bothering me is when I was in Japan, I didn't deal with the insecurities. I didn't deal with family members that always want to be talking to me. I mean, basically, out of sight, out of mind, and out of mind, I was free. Now I'm here, and it's coming from every angle, and I gotta eat that shit. Otherwise, I'm gonna bang fools. Bang fools? Fight. It's either fight or flee. But I ain't want to flee, but if I fight, it's not gonna work out for me. See, you gotta hold your tongue. You can't really speak your truth. I mean, I could if I put it in rhymes, but nobody listens to me when I do put it in rap form or on albums. It just goes missed. But what's the point of writing shit if nobody's gonna be like, shit? Now that pause right there, that would be like the chorus of the track. But since we outside, let's have the nature fill in all the cracks. All right, the fourth thing right now that's probably equally insane. In Japan, I was working and I was getting paid. I had 2 jobs. Sometimes I had 3. So I was getting multiple paychecks, spending it all on me. I bought my equipment. I bought my books and my Audible things. If I wanted to have a photo shoot, I bought the place for the model to come bring herself. I bought props. I bought spots. I bought sites. Now I'm here taking care of my dad, watching my money decrease every night. And then I wake up in the morning with ideas that's so bright. Like, if I make this website, then maybe I can get right. Then I make that website and I post it, but no sales. So then the next day I work on marketing and advertising details. And then the next day I try again, and the next day I still fail. This cycle is really bumpy. Similar to snails. Snails are bumpy too. And snails are slow. So I guess that's a better word to use than if you were following the scheme, you would already know. But similar to a snail in the way that they do go, I'm trying to reinvent myself, and this process is going slow. I started making the videos. That helps. And I appreciate the comments and all of that. I started reading my books because that's where the knowledge gets back into Matt. And I always wake up in the morning thinking today is not the past. But as the day goes on, it's like, can a dude ever catch a break? You see what I did? I said break and then I took a break. Yeah. All right. Number 5 on my list of why Japan and America are not the same. I'm in the park now. When I was young with my friends, I used to play games. Now most of my friends got kids, and in their parks they play games. But even if they came with their kids to this park, it wouldn't be the same, because now I'm basically the honorary uncle, and then we could reminisce about the old days and funk stuff. But I don't want to reminisce. I just want to do my shit. But it's hard because, this is just a lifestyle that can't exist. For those who have kids, they got to handle their shit. And for those who are single and free, they could be living as they fit. And I'm fit to live as I live, but as I explained in the other scripts that passed, I got things to do, like take care of my dad, and I'll do this until he passes, and I ain't gonna be mad. But in the meantime, I'm thinking, how can I combine all of that? Now, the only area I could say that would probably make it with no question is put all these lyrics into an album, and that shit would be like heaven, because it's real and it's identifiable, it's identifiable, it's reliable, and most people who live probably have been through the same shit as I did, survival. So maybe it would resonate and rock bells. But I don't want to put my serious shit into a script, because then I'm worried if it's going to sell. And if it doesn't sell, then it makes me feel unwell. And instead of being a heavenly shit, it brings me back down into hell. Because it's like, why did you go and do that? Now, I don't want to end this on some, man, what are you doing? I want to talk about some of the positive things that's happening to me because I am human. I mentioned in all my videos, I'm spending time with my dad, and we joke about this and that, and sometimes we even laugh. Last night we were watching Disney, and if you knew him, you'd be like, what? Because every time in the past when I'll be watching the cartoon, he'd be like, you too old for that. And I was like 12, dudes. That's why no anime ever came into my position. But last night we were watching it together, and he was in it. It was Moana, the Hawaiian girl. I think they're from Hawaii. I don't know. Anyway, we're watching that, and this is the crazy stuff that he would say. Who is that young lady? Who is that big guy? They cannot be together, and I'm gonna tell you why. And he starts talking about the mechanic of sex. I'm like, who? She's like 12 in this movie, and he's like a demigod dude. So I told him about that, and he said, okay. But this is how Mom and I would chat like this back in the day. And though we were bonding on different vibes. But I could understand what he's saying, because his whole world has changed once his wife has moved on to another life. And then I'll tell him good night, and he'll say, if anybody calls, you tell them that I ain't gonna pick up, even if it's the Queen of England selling her drawers. And I would say, the Queen of England? He said, yes, not even she. And I'd be like, what about Obama? He's like, yeah, tell him I'm here. I'll get down and played cards until 3. The other thing that's cool is I got a whole lot of time. So now I could focus on my beat making and perfecting intricate lines. I could spend some hours working on marketing and advertisement, and I can also just take time to realize what I am. I've never been one to be put in a box, and you know this is true, and I'm not going to let it happen to me, even though now it's easier too. The other day I went to my friend's mom's house, because technically she's like my mom too. She said that her son just bought a new house downtown and it's really cool. And I'm thinking I'm living in basically my child room. It kind of makes you feel sad if you compare, but that's something you shouldn't do. On the other side, we went to the lawyer yesterday to make up a will. So in the event that my dad dies, I get the house, and this is real. Now, the house is not a mansion. It's really a fixer-up. And I would probably sell it to cover all the costs, because the cash we probably couldn't come up with. So technically, I'm a home owner, although I wouldn't live here. I think if that did come to pass, I would just disappear. I might go back to Japan, but I might even go to LA. There's a whole lot of places in the world that I haven't had the chance to stay at. And hopefully COVID passes and whatever comes is not so bad. And hopefully the Ukrainian war ends and they end up getting that guy at last. But the future is unknown. Nobody knows it. Nobody does. Like they were saying, it's going to rain and it's hot as. So let's see, we're at 17. We're not going to take it to 41. I mean, I could do this all day, but I don't know. I don't know if you like the way that it's going to come. Pause. No, we ain't pausing none of that. In fact, let that train of thought run. I don't know if you're going to like the way that all these lyrics or the way this video comes. Maybe you think it's really cool that I do this, or maybe you say this is dumb. Maybe you get 1,000 views, or maybe it gets none. But either way, I'm going to do it and post it up like this. Done. Quick story back in the day when I was at Temple University. I was taking a class with this dude who never really heard of me. It was a class on marketing, to be exact. I cannot be certain, please. I'm old, I forget, but either way, this is how it be. The end of the class, we had to write something in a blue book. I didn't do any of the work, and I'm thinking, how does this look? The guy was impressed with me because he said I'm the best. He's like, I like the way you rhyme and how you manifest. Call back manifest, that was my name back in the day. If you know it, you know it. If not, now you do. Okay, so on that last day when we had our exams, I just wrote the whole shit in rap form, similar to how I am. And at the grade came in, he gave me an A+. He said, I ain't never seen nobody do it like you. You is tough. Now, sometimes that worked, and other times it didn't. Like I had a class where this guy was like, man, that shit is chicken. Well, he didn't say it's chicken. He just said he wasn't impressed. He would have failed my ass, but I did read all the texts, and like I would do a PowerPoint presentation. Had it timed out to a T. So when I would put my finger to the sky, the slide would move instantly. But he didn't give me an A+, he didn't give me a B. He gave me a freaking C because my colleagues or classmates wasn't in sync with me. Other classes, it'd be like, okay, you're a rapper, then we're gonna follow you. Like when I was in grad school, that's the same thing that it happened to do. I told them of my project and 3 classmates wanted to join. The teacher said I would buy it because you got it going on. But the thing that was holding us back, or the reason that we had slack, because we needed all the statistics and my group didn't come up with the stats. And he said, kind of racist. He said, you could sell it because you're black. And I'm like, I guess that is true, but my pride was holding me back. I met up with him once. The man, he said he actually had a yacht. He said he was a NASA person. I never met one of those. But the fact that he reduced everything I do to the color of my skin, there was no way that we could ever come together and just win. Because when am I going to let that be my identity? Anybody who speaks like that could never be a friend to me. But then it's like, back in America, that's how it really goes. People will bend over just to make a little dough. I don't want to bend over. I want to stand up and stand tall. I want to tell somebody, you take me as I am or you don't take me at all. And when I tell people this, they say, Matt, that ain't going to work. And I said, but it will. And if I do it, then I could prove I'll be first. And everybody could know that they don't have to be cursed. But they just shake their heads like I'm getting on their nerves. Like being inspirational only works if you're rich. Because if you're inspirational and broke, nobody really gives a shit. That's how I feel, but some people would say that isn't true. But at the end of the day, what is a brother to do but... So I can keep going, and I can stop. I never stopped before, and flowing is what comes out the hot, the hot part. So I think I proved, but it wasn't really trying to do that. But I think I showed that I'm always gonna rap, and I think I showed that I can put this into a track. Next time I'll do it to music, but then there's a whole lot of shit I'd have to carry, microphones and all that. It probably would be hilarious. But I used to do that in Japan. In fact, maybe I should go back and make like a wireless selection. Maybe that would be fascinating. Anyway, I'm gonna be out. Leave your comments down below if you heard what I was talking about. And if you want me to do this again, it's great practice for me. Or if you say this is whack, go ahead and say it. I'll leave that to the other channel or make a whole new one. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'm out. Done. You saw that? I tried to push it. It wouldn't let me finish. Oh my gosh. All right, let this thing diminish.